My name is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the IRS. I've worked about 10,000 cases. I am a national expert in resolution matters. I've been on all the major news stations. And what I like to do, oh, by the way, welcome to my YouTube channel. They're short, they're sweet, they're to the point. I don't run and babble. I give you the information you need to know. I look at other YouTubes. It's amazing the crap that's out there. What I like to do is I like to pull the curtain back, show you what an IRS agent thinks about a case, so at least you know what the truth is. My videos are more educational. I don't like to make salesy stuff. If you want to retain me, you can. I'm an expert in representation matters, and you can email, call me, do whatever you want. But today, I want to talk to you today about the IRS collection process and how IRS is going to really deal with your tax debt in a step-by-step methodical way IRS handles these cases. First of all, as a former IRS agent, I have to go ahead at some point in time and I have to send out a series of letters. The computer does at first to let you know, hey, you owe the tax. That's number one. We have to make the public know that the tax is owed. So you get a series of letters. You may get a CP 2000, CP 501, CP 503, CP 504, which is the final notice before seizure, intent to levy, and then a 1058, which you can file your collection due process. So step one is they must notify the taxpayer themselves that IRS is coming to collect the money. When you get to the CP 504 notice, it's a much more serious notice. It usually comes 4 or 5 months after the original assessment that IRS made. They're telling you they're going to garnish your wages and do this and that. People make a knee-jerk reaction and call IRS, and they really don't need to. At that point in time, you need to have your own exit strategy and know what you want to tell IRS when IRS comes knocking at your door or before they issue your final notice before seizure. After the 504, they have to wait another 5 or 6 weeks for you to get a CP 1058 letter. That 1058 letter gives you your collection due process rights, where you can take that case and you can go ahead and contact or have that case go to appeals, or they can work the case in appeals for failure to doubt to liability. You want a payment agreement, you want an offer in compromise, or you think you should be in hardship. Now, many people you can call when you get your 504, say, IRS, I have nothing, here's my financial statement. So that's really the next step, is you have to call Internal Revenue Service at some point in the process and say, IRS, here's my financial statement. You can do that when you get the 504 letter, or you can do that when you want to file your collection due process hearing, where you can tell them, hey, I really don't have this, I don't have that. Will you work something out with me? So the next process that you need to know is you're going to have to give IRS a financial statement on their form. So you have your letters, then you have your notice of giving IRS the financial statement, but it has to be documented. You've got to give them your last 6 months worth of bank statements, your pay stubs, your expenses, your income. They want to get a good idea what your financial life is like. So after the letters go out, the next step obviously is getting the case closed and getting it off of the IRS enforcement computer. Because if you let that enforcement computer run, at the end of the day, they're going to be seizing your bank account, filing a federal tax lien, and taking your wages. So you want to interrupt that process by calling the IRS, the 1-800 number, and say, hey, here's my financial statement. What do you want to do? Now, it's important to know that when you give IRS that financial statement, you got to know what they're basing that on. You just can't call them and say, hey, here's my financial statement. I really can't pay. What do you want to do? This is the part you have to know, and really the main piece of what I want to tell you today about. You have to understand that IRS has what's called a national standard expense list that they give you. If you call IRS and you're making $5,000 a month, IRS may say you can only live on $4,000 a month. So how do you know what they want you to live on? This is the big part of what I want to teach you today. You have to know what the IRS national standards are. So you should pause the video, go to IRS national standards, and you want to look up food and clothing. You'll want to look up housing and utilities, car payment, and expense for car. IRS allows you only to have X amount of dollars in those areas. So what IRS is doing is they're limiting those expenses, and they're trying to get more money out of you. Do not call the Internal Revenue Service whatsoever unless you understand that financial statement. It's going to be a real bad day. So what is the process? You filed your tax returns. IRS sent you a series of letters. You've got to determine when you want to call them, whether you get the 504 or you want to wait for the 1058 letter and file an appeal, so you get an appeals hearing with one person. But during that time, you have to know what your exit strategy is. If you don't know what your exit strategy is and you don't understand the form, you have to contact a professional, because if not, you're wasting your time. You're going to get hammered. I should say, if you have nothing, you're living from paycheck to paycheck and there's nothing there, call yourself. You have nothing to lose. But if you have any substantial income or you think there's skeletons, do not call yourself. That's when you got to go ahead and get a hold of someone. So that's the process. If I was helpful, please give me a subscription. Apparently YouTube loves subscriptions. It helps me and my M&M man kind of move up the ratings. You can leave me a comment, call me. I'm happy to talk to you about your case. Leave me a comment, but subscriptions are big. Thank you. Know your process. Know the national standards. Make sure all your tax returns are filed.